There we go. Let's get Facebook in here. I can handle that chat. I'm clicking it now. I know sometimes background, it's somebody clicks it and I'm already there. We got it spinning 1 and 2. All right. Looks like they're working. Welcome in, everybody. It is 6:10 p.m. Mountain Time. I really like that. I don't have to do the conversion anymore out here. And this is the last show before daylight savings. Next time, Carl, it's going to be probably bright out still when we're doing the show, at least where I'm at. How are you doing? Welcome in. And I have to say, holy cow, that beard. I can't even. That's, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Old man Wicker? Who's the one Van Winkle, the one who falls asleep on the underneath the tree and wakes up with a huge beard years later?
It's yeah. I gotta say, my wife's been gone here for quite a while, so I haven't trimmed it up or anything like that, and it's been glorious. I do have to say, this is like the fullest beard I've ever had, and I've been taking care of it. I've been putting in some of the hair beard chemicals that are supposed to help it and make it really smooth and shiny, and it's magnificent. I've had a few people like do a double take, have to stare at it, so I love it.
I want to touch it. Your beard. Yeah, it's my God. Yeah, I've had dreams of maybe you coming out and doing a hike with me now, but now I'd be ashamed for my facial hair. If you were like, oh, this guy's obviously a mountain man. Who's this,
He's bringing out the novice.
Yeah, thin-haired, weak-bearded boy next to Carl. Yeah, no, that's quite the beard. Everyone, F in the chat, respect to Carl's beard. Let's say hello to everybody coming in here. We got the New Mexico man coming in here. Says, hey guys, I hope all is well. Good to see you. We're doing okay. Gosh, just working our butts off, but that's life. That's this phase of life. So that's how it is. Papa Bear, David Knucklerath coming in here, $2 and a member as well. Mile High member says, good evening, Broncos country. Let's go, Bo. Good to see you. Papa Bear, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying healthy, and hope you are enjoying the weather and spring right around the corner and the off season as well. Hope spring's eternal in the off season. Chase Wellner, go Carl and Nick. Go Chase. Man, one of the OGs. You're not allowed to change your picture though, Chase. I'll get really upset if you do that. You've had that for like 5-6 years on here. Jason O'Neill, good to see us. Good evening, Nick, Carl, and Broncos country. Well. Things are finally started to happen. Time to find out what the Broncos will do. Let's fill needs in free agency for clarity in the draft. I mean, kind of, Carl, when you've done this as long as we have, obviously, like last year, we didn't nail the exact players the Broncos would go after. Now, granted, we always say 25% of the top guys are signed before they even hit free agency. So, like, we really like Zach Bond or Sherwood or Nick Bolton. Boom, boom, boom. Off the market. Like, never even a chance. But Hufanga, we knew they were interested in safety. Didn't think Hufanga specifically. And, boy, he was awesome. But we knew running back, linebacker, and tight end. And here we are again. Same needs, different year. I will say, though, if there's any positions where you want needs, it's probably those three. Maybe toss in safety as well.
Yeah, I had somebody make that comment of, oh, here we are right back where we were last year. We haven't even improved the team. And I'm like, no, they improved big time. When you can go 14-3, it means some things worked out really well for you. It means probably some of your draft picks maybe weren't superstars, but at least were hits.
I mean, how could you not feel good about Pat Bryant, RJ Harvey, like as a holistic piece in the backfield, and Q Robinson too? I mean, those three look pretty darn good. Jury's still out on Savion Jones and of course Barron as well because of the ROI on a first round pick. But like,
right,
I don't know, 1 year with a talented roster, I don't feel bad about the class by any means.
Yeah, and then you got Crawshaw as your punter. It looks like he's going to be the long-term solution there for you. So you feel good about that. You feel good about the second-year guys that came in and I think did pretty well for us. Again, not any superstars per se, but I think the Broncos, you got your superstars figured out. You got Garrett Bowles at left tackle being maybe the best left tackle in football. Patrick Surtain, of course. Nick Bonito's up there. Quinn Miners, Zach Allen. I mean, those are your superstars. And so you were needing a lot more of just the role player kind of guys. I mean, they're not roles, they're starters, but guys that can go out there and they're not going to cost you the game. and they found those. And so the Broncos are right there, right on the edge, and maybe just a few players from getting over the top and being right there with Seattle as maybe top 2 or 3 team in football. So yeah, you feel good about the Broncos. Unfortunately, yes, the needs are still the same. Unfortunately, the Evan Ingram was not a good signing.
No.
We'll see what they do to kind of correct that. Running back, J.K. Dobbins it's kind of weird. He was a good signing.
Compared to the contract when he got him, he's going to get a bigger contract than he got last offseason because the ROI this season was more than what you paid.
And so the running game was working for half the season, which is great to see. So they're not too far off. And oof, coming in, we got to talk about the good coming in here. Shannon Mills saying, good evening, Nick, Carl, and Broncos country with the 99.99 super chat. Thank you so much there, Shannon. That is great to see. I say this every time. I wish that was not Chiefs red. That's the only thing that's against that one right there. But maybe that's just us mocking them a little bit of them finishing third in the division here. But thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate that so much. And just great start to the day here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shannon. I mean, God bless you coming in, supporting the show. I know financial times are rough for a lot of people, but man, we really, really do appreciate that. And obviously, you're just coming in and saying hi, but if you have anything else you want to come say on here, you are obviously welcome. Yeah. Chat reacting, Shannon. Wow. Michael says Princess of Mile High Huddle podcast, Shannon Mills. Absolutely. Darren Brown's in the house says, let's go about it as well. And then Jordan comes in and says, hey, Shannon, appreciate you, Shannon, so much. Yeah, that's incredible. Hope you're doing well. I want to say hello to some more folks coming in here. As we said, Jordan Lewis there. Good to see you. We're doing busy, but we're well. I mean, gosh, again, some more comments in the chat for Carl's beard for sure. Good to see you. He says, Jason O'Neill also says, hypothetically, if the Broncos fill key roles in free agency, would they possibly trade out of 30 to acquire draft picks and more depth at offensive line, especially? It's hard for Denver because I feel like they're not a team that has like a lot of roster spots per se. Now, obviously, if you trade down and you can get really good ROI, maybe you flip those then for veterans or, as I really like to do, add that surplus value that is in the future. So like if I could trade a 3rd round pick this year for a 2nd round pick this year, I would do it because obviously that 2nd round pick is going to be more valuable and I'm not going anywhere. All I have to do is wait a year. So I love doing that. I mean, the Patriots built a freaking dynasty. A lot of the depth of how they built the roster was doing that multiple trade downs from 1st to 2nd round to 3rd round and getting future picks that were higher than the pick they gave away. So I think that's a lot of times a good idea, but it takes 2 to tango. In the 2027 class, I think teams are going to be extremely trepidatious to give away 1st round picks for 2027 because there looks to be a lot more star power next year. Like this class, I mean, the middle rounds, there's quality players, a lot of good athletes, but you're missing your like transcendent wide receiver, edge rushers, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, offensive tackles even next year. I know people always do this, but like next year's draft, but like next year, probably a cornerback better than anybody in this year's class. And the guy out of Notre Dame. Definitely a wide receiver better than anybody's class. And Jeremiah Smith. Definitely quarterbacks. Probably. Mendoza is a pretty good quarterback prospect, unfortunately. But, I mean, you talk about, obviously, Jeremiah Smith. 2 edge rushers next year, too. Dylan Smith and Colin? I can't remember his Texas edge rusher. I mean, these guys, you're talking about top 5 in this draft class this year. So we'll see. But, yeah, trading back always depends on what the offer is and who's calling and how far you're going down. But certainly possible. They could go either direction. They could trade up too. Everything's on the table.
Yeah, I don't think you're trying to get more draft capital in this draft for sure. I mean, you can, but Broncos already have 55 players signed to contracts right now for 2026. So you have minimal spots that are going to be open. Like, I mean, obviously some of those are bottom tier of the roster that you can replace. But for the most part, Broncos last year, strong starters, pretty good depth, and they can feel pretty good about this roster. And so there might only be about 7 or 8 spots open for rookies to be able to make this roster this year. And That's why I'm saying 2027. If you can add to that, there's just going to be a lot of teams that are going to be wanting to hold on to that if they can. Because like I said, there's the players in this draft. There are some really good players. Like you look at Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs. The problem is they're just not at the valuable positions. Kind of you were talking earlier about what positions can you be weak at and still have a really good team. Sometimes it's those positions. And I'm not trying to take away from those guys. If they fell to 30, I would be running to the podium as quick as possible to have them be a Denver Bronco. When there was rumors about Caleb Downs having a knee injury and maybe having some issues with that, I'm like, yep, please have him fall to 30. Maybe it's the Broncos trying to spread that rumor, seeing if they can get him to fall down there. But for the most part, like I said, if you can wait for 2027, then you can really start thinking long-term for this team. It's part of, like you said, the Patriots were a great showing of that, where they didn't have to worry about that we need these guys right now to be immediate impact guys, and having a coach that has really good job security. You've got your quarterback figured out. That's when teams can start doing that. They don't have to think just this year. They aren't in that place of, if we don't win it this year, we could have everybody fired. And thankfully, I think the Broncos are in that kind of place too, where they can feel very good about coach, quarterback, GM. I think everybody's in place. They're going to be here for a while. Maybe Sean Payton thinks about retirement soon. I mean, I think that's about the only thing you could maybe worry about there. But you can think more long-term now, because the Broncos are very set at the key positions.
Yeah, and just to the point of trading down, we saw the Broncos trade down in the second round last year, I believe, right? And then they ended up getting RJ Harvey after they traded down, and that ammunition they got then allowed them to move back up and down and around. And so, like, the trade down from 30 doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have more picks. Not that you were saying that, Carl. Right. But it just gives you ammunition to be flexible in the draft and kind of target players in ranges. So if somebody slides that you like, you have the ability to go do that. Or you trade some of those picks that you acquired for veterans to fill out the roster. I mean, you only gave up a 6th-round pick to bring in John Franklin Myers. There's a real, I can't think of what the exact phrase is, but you can get massive surplus value trading for veterans if you have the extra capital to do so and the cap space to bring them in. So definitely something to consider. Just those picks allow a lot of flexibility when you move. So Keith coming in, Broncos country. Good to see you, Keith. Paul's in the house. Hello to the old OGs. Winds have changed. How do we adjust? Nick and Carl are two of the greatest peeps. Appreciate you, Paul. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, you see this free agent crops, and I always say, I don't get too attached to any of the names on it, because you're going to have 20% of the top guys are going to be cap casualties that you weren't even expecting, like Kyler Murray today, right? Not Denver's going after him, but I didn't expect Kyler Murray to get cut. I hadn't been thinking about it really, but he's out there now. And 25% are going to get signed before they even hit free agency. So the crop will be the crop. I do think that because there's so much money in the NFL, there always has been, teams are really wealthy now. They kind of know how to manipulate the cap. The quality of players at the top in free agency are not what they were 10 years ago, in my opinion. So it makes that draft and development and surplus picks to trade for veterans all the more valuable, in my opinion. So we'll keep it going, but good to see you, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Michael's in the house. Good evening. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. It says, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to Mile High Huddle podcast on YouTube. Become a member of the Mount Rushmore support and join Mile High Huddle podcast, Discord, Go Broncos. Well, we don't have to do a show anymore. He already promoted for us. Thanks, Michael. Roy in the house. Roy, Golden Retriever fan, and got a new car. So good to see you, Roy. Big E Bronco. The Denver Bronco does not need to overpay for Kenneth Walker. I would rather have Tyler Algier from Atlanta, J.K. Dobbins, draft a running back. Walker's really talented. There's no doubt. I think he's kind of if Scott was here, I could feel his eyes roll if I said this, but stylistically, he's Bijan Robinson light, how he can press the line of scrimmage and then get out in some of the running style. I can't think of many players who run like him. Honestly, Dobbins kind of does a little bit too, but I think Walker has more of an explosive element to him than Dobbins. They got to kick the tires, I think, in the very least. And with seeing how teams are trading for running backs and everything that they're doing, I don't think a lot of folks value the running back crop in the draft that much. Don't let the combine shift things too much. It always happens. These guys test really well. what's the tape say at the end of the day? We're drafting football players. It's good to have the measurements and the thresholds, but tape's the Northern Star at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm interested in J.K. Dobbins back. It just needs to be paired with another back, and I would imagine I probably wouldn't approach J.K. Dobbins with the deal until after the draft. That's rough. It's tough. It's business.
Yeah.
He's not trustworthy health-wise. So I'm going after crops I trust more first, and then depending on how the draft falls, going after J.K. Dobbins then.
Honestly, I think all three of these guys, I would want to pair them with somebody. Just Algier's not been the lead back, so we don't know how he's going to handle having 225 plus carries in a season. Walker, it's not that he's had the serious injuries, but he's always kind of been a little bit dinged up. A hamstring, a quad, something's going on. And so I just want somebody else that we could trust. He has to miss a couple games and it could come in. J.K. Dobbins, we all know the injury history for him. And really in today's NFL, I think it is pretty key that you need 3 running backs that you can trust to go out there and make plays, at least 2 that you can depend on to get at least 15 carries, pick up the hard yards, get positive plays on most every run play that they go out there. I think that's the nice thing about Kenneth Walker is that he does turn most plays into a positive play. Even the negative ones, he can turn them into positive plays where he's getting hit in the backfield. And like I said, he's got that one jump cut that is just very, very dangerous, and it works so well in today's NFL. And the explosion to run away. And so, yes, the Broncos are connected to him. Albert Breer put out there today that the Broncos are very much in the top running back market when we're talking about Travis Etienne, talking about Kenneth Walker. They're going to be in those conversations. And while I don't like paying top dollar for a running back, when this team is in the win now mode that they are, of, hey, we've got a real chance at this Super Bowl, part of me doesn't mind them overspending a little bit at the running back position. If it means that we get an upgrade and that we have a strong run game and it's not fully on Bo Nix's hands there, where I just think they put too much on him as a young player. Now, he's done great with it. Don't get me wrong. But you put a strong run game with this, man, it opens up so many other things for what this offense could do. And then I think you start talking about this being a top 10 offense and being able to really go win you some games when the defense isn't having their best day. And so I don't mind them, like I said, spending on Walker, depending on how high it gets. I mean, if we're talking 14, 15 million, which is right there at the franchise tag price, I'm like, yeah, it's the price. That's what it's going to take. When you're starting to get up there to 17, 18 million, then I'm saying, okay, let's move to the next guy. And if that guy gets priced out, then you moved on, and on down. And I like Tyler Algier. Don't get me wrong. If the Broncos go that direction, I'm going to be giving them a round of applause for getting that kind of deal done. But there's a reason that Walker's trying to get that kind of money, because he has that kind of talent where he can take over a game. We saw it in the Super Bowl where he was able to do things on his own that not many running backs in the NFL can do.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it depends on the contract and the structure of the contract as well for somebody like that. But if you give him a 3-year deal, it's essentially a 2-year deal to pair with, rookie cost control almost across all the offensive skill positions, quarterback as well. I mean, I understand it. And it does fit the win now window. I'm more interested in Algier. Personally, I'm not as big on Travis Etienne, but they got to come out with somebody. I think we said it last year, that what was the number one need? It was a running back, and they didn't necessarily field it. Now, typically it is a position that just because of attrition, there are more bodies available, but you got to hit still. And I would say soft hit last year. They got on base, but we need to at least get a double, get in a scoring position. Yeah. Patrick Wiltsey coming in here. Shout out to you, man. I got a package on my front door the other day with 2 cold brew Lion coffees. So I couldn't crack that in the evening. I'm going to wait till it's a little warmer. It actually felt a little bit like Seattle today out here in Denver. But yeah, no, thank you so much. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in here saying hello. I saw Chase Wellner in the house, Ernie Mays in the house. Legit Mafia says even Crawshaw was an amazing pick. He was good. It was fine. Amazing. He was average punter last season, and with how field position has changed in the NFL, I think the net average punt. We don't have to spend a whole show on my theory on punting and special teams, but like net average punting doesn't matter as much anymore because you're getting the ball at the 35 so much. What matters is punts that end in the 10 or in the 5. And Crawshaw he was not very good last season in the coffin corner aspect of punting. So that's something going to have to be better on. I mean, obviously fine. What was it, 6th round pick, 5th round pick for a rookie? Fine. You're not going to find many starters in the 6th or 7th round just in general, but something to keep an eye on. And just with how the game has changed because of the kickoff rules.
So with that, do you think more teams are going to start, instead of deferring to the second half, start thinking about taking it for the first half? Because, I was listening to somebody talk about this the other day. You start somewhere between the 30 and the 35. I think it was even Sean Payton was talking about this a little bit. You pick up 1 first down and you punt, well, you can pin that team back in the 10-yard line, 5-yard line.
If you're punting,
then all of a sudden that position battle, it really gets into your favor there. So I think you really could see some teams, if they win the coin toss, starting to make the choice more to start receiving than kicking it off right off the bat.
I mean, it's the same thing as always, right? You get the ball first, you can score first, right? Like but if you get it second, you can score second. So the field position stuff, would you rather have it in the first half or the second half? It'll be fascinating to see. I'd be curious about the numbers and a bigger, more analytical discussion on it. Thank you, Legit Mafia, for coming in here, giving us a chance to talk a little bit of punting. Shannon also says out of the loop yesterday, had a tooth extracted. Woof. Oof. Hope you're feeling okay. Hopefully they don't do Novocaine anymore, but hopefully everything's working out just fine for you. And hopefully that super chat wasn't an accident with the post tooth extraction fun times. We got also, I did want to say obviously to Phil McLaughlin coming here. Shout out to Phil, not only obviously the super chat and everything, but I see him with the wow react over on Facebook. So we got 8 reacts right now. Make sure you guys are clicking the thumbs up and all that good stuff as well. He says, good evening, Nick and Carl. Will Jacoby Lane be available at 30? Yes. Unless there's something going on that's way outside the scope. I mean, last year we saw there's the consensus draft board, Carl, right? And last season we had like 2 of the largest against consensus picks at wide receiver in the last 10 years. In Isaac Tisla going top of the 3rd round, and then Pat Bryant, what was he, pick 75, pick 85, something like that. And Bryant looks great. I mean, he's honestly, if you flip like Pat Bryant around with Jahdae Barrett and you're like, okay, Bryant with the flashes and how they used him. I mean, wish he was a little bit more explosive, but like looks like a number 2 wide receiver in the least for pick 20. That's fine. And then Jahdae Barrett kind of played like a mid-day 2 pick when he was out there. So, it's about where all the guys hitting everything. But Jacoby Lane, I would be shocked right now. I don't know what the odds are for him going at 30 overall, but I'd be very shocked. I think you're talking about him more 2nd, 3rd round.
So what about his playing partner, Mekhi Lemon?
No idea, because of the weirdness with the combine. You can talk about it, but it's just like, who knows? All it takes is one team, but like, sounds like he got Fs in the interviews.
Yeah. And you talk about a guy, he's undersized. He's not the fastest guy out there. He runs good routes. He has incredible hands. I mean, he'll make a catch in traffic that you are wondering how in the world he came up with it. Same with Jacoby Lane. I mean, both those guys, if I was a quarterback, I'd be like, this is great. I can just throw it up and probably this guy's going to come down with it. I mean, Lane might have some of the best highlight catches of this past season.
Yeah.
But Mekhi Lemon, let's say if he was there at 30, would I take him? I probably would. I mean, I do think he is a good player. And I think he's going to probably be more of a number 2 wide receiver than a number 1. But as you said earlier, at pick 30, if you can find a number 2 wide receiver, you're still doing pretty darn good. And if we can upgrade and move all the other guys down one spot, like I like Franklin, but I like him more as a number 3 or number 4 wide receiver. Same thing with Pat Bryant. I like him. But if you move him down to 3rd wide receiver and you have him and Lemon and Sutton on the field together, I kind of like that group. So I'd probably pick him, but I'd also want to know what happened in those interviews. Like, what was he saying? Was it like Shedeur Sanders last year where he was oh, I'm going to have my own TV crew and we're doing our own show. And what can you give me? Not what can I give you? What are you going to do for me here? That I don't know why in the world he decided to go in that kind of direction. I don't know who was telling him. Probably his dad. And his dad, it's one of those, he could get away with it. It's cornerback and just the talent level. I mean, he was just so far and above that you're going, okay, we don't care. Yeah, you're kind of a me first kind of guy. You're a big shot. We can put up with it. But quarterback, all those kind of things. But I just wonder what was said. What was so bad to make teams go, nope, we don't like this.
Guys, no idea, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. All it takes is one team, though. But, yeah, it sounds like he definitely flubbed his interviews. Frank wants Jadarian Price. You cannot go wrong. Yeah, we'll see about Jadarian Price. He's interesting. I know that Eric is not as big of a fan on him, but I think, second round, late second round, third round, I'm interested. But we'll see. Shiloh, good to see you. He also says running back cycle has me reminiscing of the days when a back could get 1,000 yards in a Shanahan offense. I mean, there's not like as many 1,000-yard rushers anymore anyways, because they're not, feeding them the rock like that anymore. It's about efficiency overall. So, yeah, it will be interesting to follow, no doubt. Michael says 3 years, $16 million or 3 years, $17 million for Walker is what I was hearing. I think you're saying $16 million per year.
Yeah.
On that, it's not my money. It's a little rich for me, but some of it depends on the structure. Like, is it a deal that you can feasibly get out of after a year, and then the last year is essentially no dead money? Maybe. Maybe he's talented. But, man, I remember watching him at Michigan State. He was who was the head coach at Colorado that, like, spurned them? Is that the right word? And then went off to Mel Tucker? Is it Mel Tucker?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And like he got Mel Tucker a lot of money because Kenneth Walker was so good at that Michigan State team. We'll see how they do with D'Antonio, but that's it's a decent infrastructure there at Michigan State. We'll see. Shannon Mills says, I think Algier and Dobbins would fit more since Dobbins can coach RJ. You essentially get 2 running backs and a mentor for the cost of Walker. The question is, would Dobbins want to come here after signing Algier or vice versa? I mean, that's the tougher part and the sell for me. Again, I think the Dobbins stuff, if he wants to come back and like not get guaranteed touches because you brought in somebody that's a little bit more durable, then fine, that'd be great. But he wants to play too at the same time, right? Like he's trying to earn a big contract for multiple guaranteed years. That's going to be life-changing. Right now, he's a mercenary year by year. It's going to get that opportunity. Maybe somebody get in his ear. Maybe, only getting 10 touches a game is better for him. If you can show efficiency like he did last season for 10 touches a game and stay healthy, somebody's, who cares? He was healthy last year and pay him. But, we'll see. It's always tough. Go ahead.
If you had that group, how would you divide up the touches?
I haven't thought about it very much. Algier is going to get the majority of the carries, especially on the early base downs. I really hope that Harvey can take steps forward in pass protection because his ability as a pass catcher while still having the frame, I think, is there. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great running back between the tackles per se with how he looked last season, but like the tools are there to be a good pass protector for him. I mean, we saw flashes of it. So if he can do that, that'd be great. And then Dobbins, just kind of maybe spelling both of them a little bit, but you're talking about, 5 to 10 touches for Dobbins, 10 to 18 for Algier, 8 to 15 for Harvey, probably something like that. But I'd love them to get a little bit more balanced in their run pass splits. Like I'm kind of like Bo Nix has the most pass attempts out of anybody in the NFL the last 2 years. Part of that's he stayed healthy until he didn't. But I would love to be a little bit more balanced and take a little bit of that load off of him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'd rather see more of a, 53, 47% kind of split for pass run. I mean, you're still going to always pass, especially with Sean Payton here. You're still going to be a passing team. But if you can get a little bit more balance, like I said, and then take some pressure off, I think then you got a few more explosive plays that could be coming into the offense. He could still put up the same number of yards, just with fewer pass attempts. But we got Clayton coming in saying, hey, guys. Hey to you as well. Good to see you here this evening. Got a lot of the regulars, which is good to see. And let's see who else we got coming in here. I know we had Phil coming back in with some more stars. Thank you very much, Phil, twice here. Says, guys, do you think JFM will be part of a trade, or will we get a draft pick for him, or will we keep him? And so, well, one, JFM's a free agent, so you can't trade him. I mean, then the tag deadline already passed today. Is at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Mountain time for those of you that are there. And so the best thing the Broncos could hope for right now is a comp pick for him. That's about the best you can get. And so you better be hoping he gets a big contract, that he's getting up there in the 22 or 22 million kind of contract. Pretty much seems like it's no secret that he's probably going to the Titans. It seems like everybody's kind of recruiting him to end up there, work with Robert Saleh, and which I think would be a really good fit for him. And they've got plenty of money, so they could pay him. And so I think probably that's the direction he goes. I don't think the Broncos are keeping him. If they were keeping him, they would have already signed him to a contract. And it sounds like he was willing to give the Broncos a discount. And the Broncos just said, no, we're good. We're moving on. We like Savion Jones. We like Wazirike. We think these guys can pick up, maybe not be what he was, but if they could be 90% of what he was for a tenth of the price, that's pretty good business right there. Sometimes you're going to have to when you're this good of a team, you're going to have to let some talent go every once in a while. And JFM, it was great while we had him. It was great that it only cost us a 6th round pick to get him. And maybe we end up getting like a 4th round comp pick back next year, not this year.
Probably not, because they're probably sign
a
contract that's like in ballpark. But we'll see. And you say we would get a draft pick back for him, maybe the comp pick, like you said, but he's gone. You have to hope that, in the aggregate, you can replace him. And also interior defensive line, because of him being gone and how valuable it is very much on the table for the Broncos early in the draft. You do have some rookie contract guys, Wazirike and Savion Jones, though, that hopefully can take some steps forward. And maybe you find a mercenary body type that wants to come into a good defense that can play pretty well considering the infrastructure that's here now. Is it going to be as good as JFM? No, but if you can get 80% of JFM for 40% of the cost, maybe it allows you a little bit of area to money and flexibility to go elsewhere. Glenn in the house says, good morning from down under. Free agency's upon us and some dominoes are falling as players are cut. Aside from Stowers, any tight end prospects you're high on post-combine? I was impressed with the LB testing. Yeah, Eli Raridon, obviously the biggest thing for him is going to be the medicals because he had some injuries there at Notre Dame, but 6'7", 260, and what do you run, Carl? Like a 4'7", 4'6"? I mean, he for that size and probably the best blocker in the class. I mean, there's only probably 12 to 14 like true Ys in the NFL at any point, and Denver, and for my opinion, didn't have one of them. Troutman kind of, but I mean, you need a Y. God bless it, man. It's driving me nuts for the operation of the offense. So I really like Eli Raridon. Stowers had a good combine, no doubt. Obviously, Kenyon Sadiq had a good enough combine that he's out of the realm of reality for Denver now, right. And I think it would be stupid to trade up for him for where he's going to go. Like, do you going to trade up for 13 overall for a tight end? No, absolutely. That's bad business, guys. He'd have to be a Hall of Fame level player to probably be worth that trade up for a tight end. And I'm not betting on that. I think he's going to be good. And I'm betting he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, we'll see. Any other tight ends that stood out, Carl, for you?
Sam Roush had a really good
combine. Yeah. If not for the T-Rex arm, man. God. Crazy. Body type doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
But, I mean, he came into the combine more known as a blocking tight end, and he came out as one of the top athletes. So you might be trying to read into that and say, okay, well, we know that he's a good blocker, that he could come in, be that wide tight end for us. and then maybe we can turn him into something a little bit more.
I don't know if he has the length to be a Y. It's what is it, 6th percentile, 5th percentile? I think you probably got to weaponize him as a blocker, kind of like how the Jaguars have used Brenton Strange, right? Where he's a really good athlete. He's 250, but he's got T-Rex arms, and because of that, they don't really deploy him as a true inline blocker all that often because the length that edge rushers have in the NFL is just freaking different. And it's just like they dictate engagement than often. So like I'm not saying you can't do it sometimes. It's just like it's short enough where it's like, man, I don't know, but good enough athlete, even still as a FH back, some Y usage, it's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, another guy, I know that Max Clare gets all the love for being a tight end. But I thought the other Ohio State tight end, whose name's escaping me right now, you're talking day 3 with somebody like him, I would believe, but like he's going to come in and do a role. I think I went back and like somebody's like, check out the Michigan tape. He kicked butt as a blocker in that one. So, I know everybody that doesn't get you the fantasy points, but you got to be able to freaking block to change the math for your teams offensively.
Is that Will Kekmerick?
I think so. Yep. So like why was Ohio State allowed to deploy all these different, wide receivers and Max Clare, who's essentially, a big slot, because you have a tight end that freaking did the dirty work up front and allowed you to be multiple. So yeah, those guys stood out to me. Got more Pearl running late, but good to see you. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Mr. Flum says a little too much zest. I don't know what that's about, but there's no such thing as too much zest. We got a zest for life. Chase Wellner coming in says thoughts on what Houston gave up for Montgomery. Too much for a 9th year, 7th year running back for $8 million this year, $10 million next year, and what was it, a 4th, a 7th, and a starting Scruggs, Juice Scruggs, who has not been like great, but like even just as a depth, interior offensive lineman, that's valuable for a 2nd string run. Montgomery's good. Like I'd have taken him, but I was thinking like a 6th round pick for him. So a 4th, a 7th, and a player. Nuh-uh. Not for me.
And from what I understand, Broncos kind of forced them to have to pay that much.
Yeah,
it sounds
a rare. Here's the trade. Oh, actually, here's the updated trade. Don't see that.
Yeah, so Broncos came in with something a little bit more than a 5th round pick, and then Houston redirected and said, all right, yep, we'll go 4th, 7th, and a player. And so Broncos liked him. Broncos really did want him. And I think he would have been fine here. But yes, at that kind of price, no thank you. Not for a guy that kind of age, the number of carries that he's had, it's not worth it when there's plenty of guys that are going to be free agents that I really like. And it sounds like there's even some other guys like Josh Jacobs could get cut.
James Conner.
James Conner is supposed to be cut. So there's just so many names out there. Why give up draft picks when you can probably go find somebody that's pretty comparable to what he would bring to the table?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to follow. No doubt. Yeah. Thanks, Roy, for keeping us up there on the trade. Rodney Garcia says, good evening. Do you guys see us picking up a veteran tight end like Dallas Goedert? I know that he's definitely diminishing. He's not like the force multiplier that he used to be, but he still can play the Y role. Same with David Njoku. You talk about a 3-year contract that's essentially a 2-year contract, or a 2-year contract that's a 1-year contract. I'm definitely interested. I know that there's some love out there for Daniel Bellinger, good athlete, solid move blocker, has some familiarity, was a teammate with Davis Webb. And then you got probably the best Y on the market is Charlie Kolar, who has some ties to this staff, Iowa State, so he would pick the wrong school to play tight end, but then we won't hold it against him too much. But he's somebody, he's 6'7", 6'8", 260. You're paying for a blocker more than a receiver, but he can be a red zone guy, find the soft spot in the zone, post up, and definitely a good blocker. So there's a lot of options at tight end. Kate Otten also, pretty good chain mover. I wish he was a little bit stronger at the point of attack, but does have the frame. He can do some stuff as well. So there's options out there. It just depends on the contract. But I would be shocked if they didn't bring in another tight end, running back, linebacker. It's going to happen.
Right. Well, for sure. I mean, Troutman's a free agent. Nate Adkins, they haven't signed him to a restricted free agent tag. So both those guys could be gone. Right now, you're looking at Evan Ingram. That's about it in the tight end room.
I mean, Adkins.
Well, they haven't put a tag, or they haven't done the restricted free agent thing yet with him.
The tender.
Yeah, the tender. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
Isn't he? Is he exclusive rights? I can't remember.
No, he's RFA.
They'll put the original round tender on him, I'm sure.
I'm sure they will. I mean, they do like him.
He's useful.
So I think, yeah, he is. He'll be back. But still, you need another tight end for sure, just to get ready for the draft. And this isn't a bad tight end draft. There's a lot of guys I do like. I saw somebody ask the question, where would Sadiq rank in last year's draft? Yep. Nope.
You got it. It's
Hands
okay.
off.
No. Pull it up. I'm
okay. I'll pull it up here. TW said, how would you rank Sadiq with last year's top tight ends in Warren and Loveland? He'd be behind them for sure. They both have a little bit more size, a little bit more fluidity to their game. Sadiq, I think I've been saying this from the beginning. He's more athlete than football player right now to me. He's a great athlete, and he could turn into a top 5 tight end in football. But Warren and Loveland, they were a lot more. They were further along in their development of a tight end, and what you could think of them as. And I think they were just a little bit more multiple as well. They're better route runners. Sadiq's up there with them for blocking. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a very, very talented blocker for being undersized the way that he is. But those other two, they're just more of what you look at when you look around the league and say, okay, these are the top tight ends. These are the size measurements, everything else. You usually see more of a Warren or Loveland. Sadiq's just a little bit, he's just on that smaller side. And it's hard to see how he's going to get clear to that kind of level. And part of it is we have seen Warren and Loveland in the NFL. We know these guys are actually really good tight ends, that they're already probably in that top 10 tight end conversation as rookies. Whereas Sadiq, and then I think the other thing for me, by the end of the season, you could see with Oregon, they were leaning more towards his playing partner at tight end than they were Sadiq.
He's built like an NFL tight end. Like Sadiq's great. Yeah. Was it Johnson? Jamar? I can't remember the name, but like, man, that's a big boy out there. Sadiq's great. He's somewhere between Vernon Davis and Evan Ingram. He's got more dog to him than Evan Ingram. He doesn't have the 15, 20 pounds that Vernon Davis had as well. I wouldn't say he's the most nuanced mover, if that makes sense. Like he's so explosive and like compact that like he can't really throttle down that much, which is one of the things, like especially like work in the middle of the field. It doesn't look like he doesn't always play like he has control, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like you see a wide receiver, especially like a slot, and their ability to change direction and like change their stride length to like slow down their pace to work the zone or anything. Like he's going to be tough as heck to cover up the seam, on dump offs after the catch, crossing routes, just because like so much speed, but like the actual ability to like throttle is the word I keep coming to. I just don't see that as much. Again, though, he's big enough, strong enough athlete, good enough blocker, can be weaponized in so many ways. Like he's going to be a top 20 player. He should be. I wouldn't put him up there with Loveland. Warren, just a little bit more potential because of the size. But I mean, honestly, Carl, like, where can I buy stock that Loveland's the best tight end in the entire NFL a year from now? Because I'm looking to buy right now. He looks different.
I'm going to switch sports here.
Okay.
Sadiq reminds me of Chapman, the pitcher.
Aurelius?
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, first name.
Fastball.
He had fastball. He had one really good pitch. And it was amazing. And Sadiq, like I said, he can out-athlete a lot of people. Even in the NFL, he's going to be out-athleting a lot of people. Most linebackers, even safeties. he's going to be able to run away from some of those guys. But like I said, the ability to set up plays, the ability to understand where to sit down in zones, I think that's for me why I loved Loveland so much last year. You could see even at the college level, he understood NFL ideas. If he realized that they were in zone and he was running a man beater, hey, there's a time, just sit down in this spot. And he would just be right there for an easy catch. So Sadiq, like I said, if he can figure out the little nuances of the game, he can become a huge weapon in the NFL. But he's just not there. He's a long ways away from that. And I just don't know if he has quite that mentality because, like I said, he's hair on fire all the time. And you love that. But like I said, there's those times where you need to set some things up so you can come back to something later on, or as you said, in a route. Cooper Kupp, this is what made him so dangerous for a while there when he was really healthy. Like I said, he could go through gears. He'd kind of come up to the cornerback, going in first gear, get to them, all of a sudden, boom, he's in third gear, going across the field and just wide open because the corner's going, oh, yeah, you're kind of slow playing and just not expecting that burst of speed. And Sadiq, it's, nope, I'm in third gear from the very beginning, third gear going across the field, and he just can't make those turns that you would like to see coming out of his breaks.
Yeah, I do say I think there's a little bit more nuance to him. Like he has some real good acrobatic plays as an athlete. And you see it in the red zone despite the size. Like he can go up and pluck the ball, and there's like athleticism and coordination and strength and the ability that he does that. And also because he is strong enough and got enough, heart, he can be weaponized as a blocker. A true Y, full-blown Y. I mean, again, how many times we got to talk about that? Maybe not, but very good and should be going in the top 20. Denver probably shouldn't trade for him either. But we'll keep moving here. Rodney asked about Jacob Rodriguez. Draft Jacob Rodriguez at 62 or whatever Denver's picking at down there. 30, probably not. I just don't think he's got enough juice, if you will. It takes a pretty special player for me to be like, oh yeah, round one linebacker. And I think there's probably only two in the class that I would like, and they're probably both going top 10. Other than that, it's kind of a opportunity cost not going for a more positional value. I think if there's anybody who might work their way into where at 30 where I'm like, okay, fine, I like it, is probably CJ Allen. But it's just because he has he's really young and he is damn explosive as a player, like a wrecking ball. Like I know Rodriguez might be the better player. He might have been the better player. I just think the traits that Allen has are valued a little higher in the league.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's quite a few teams in the 20s that are interested in CJ Allen right now. I mean, still a lot of time before the draft. I mean, players will move up and down like crazy as more information gets out there. But we got Daniel Barry Sports coming in saying, happy Tuesday. What's up, everyone? Good to see you, Daniel. And thanks for joining us here on the show. And yeah, I'm with you. The second tier linebackers in this draft, there's about 5 or 6 of them that I actually really like. And that's why I would rather wait till second, third round to probably hit that position unless one of those guys really falls. Or like you said, CJ Allen, I could understand it. I think I would probably bring back Sternad or Singleton, one of the two, and keep Greenlaw and then give CJ Allen maybe a year just to kind of learn more of the position. Because if you can combine football knowledge with the athleticism, yeah, he could turn into something really special for you. Yeah. But I do think he needs a little bit of time before you're really putting him out there on a regular basis.
Smart player, really good coming downhill, physical, a good athlete. He's not like the Texas kid in this class, and obviously not either of the Ohio State kids, but like a good athlete. Questions in coverage, which won't be answered until he's in the league. So who knows? We'll see how it plays out. Good to see Daniel Barry Sports coming in here. Cliff this morning, the Broncos are looking to keep Troutman. Maybe they are. That's one of those ones where we miss out on the guys that we really like, and then, oh, I always loved you, baby. Come back home. You're not a 3. I wasn't at the bar, looking to hit up some 7+s. So let's go home. So not to be too chauvinistic, I guess the word there on that one. But that's kind of, it's a safety net, if you will. So we'll see, because he does know the offense and he can play a role, no doubt. Other news: franchise tag reshaping things. I think the Jets did officially offer the franchise tag to Breece Hall today. Somebody in the chat, correct me if wrong. I thought I saw that come across the wire. Also, running back wise, Javonte Williams signed a 3-year, $24 million contract about a week ago. You do have Kenneth Walker, though, that's set to hit the market, and it sounds like he's going to have a lot of interest. Also, you have the Giants releasing Bobby Okereke from Stanford to the Colts to the Giants. There's linebackers out there. I do think Denver's probably more interested in retaining the bodies they have here, but we'll see. There's linebackers available. There's tight ends available. Running back, kind of ironically, not as deep. But any final thoughts, Carl, before we get out of any final thoughts you have here, Carl, before we get on here? George Fox says hi. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Anybody else we haven't said hello to yet? US Dave, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you. I had Roy come in. Big E, good to see you. Yeah, Shannon says, imagine Josh Jacobs, a Bronco killer. That'd be fun. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, since essentially the window opens up, free agency doesn't open up for a little bit, but Monday is the tampering period. I guess I'll make a prediction here. I do think that the Broncos' first signing will be a running back, and I think it will be one of the big names. Okay. I think it's either Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. It really does stink. We're kind of missing that second tier of running backs in this class. Like Love, just pretend he doesn't exist. You're not going to get him. But just like last year, you had Judkins in that area, Omarion Hampton. Not that, I was saying take that guy at 20, but 30, maybe a little bit of a different conversation. But just that you don't have those guys this year, unfortunately. Just not that crop, in my opinion. Some people might disagree with Price, but there's always going to be one or two running backs that pop. Just like at 30 overall, Carl, I haven't asked you, I haven't put you on the spot. There's going to be a wide receiver available that has the potential to be a number one wide receiver, and I think pretty darn good odds to be a top 30 player, which on a rookie contract is top 30 player at his position, which is, that's really, really good value. Who the hell is it? I don't know. I'm not ready to say that yet. I'm also not saying there's going to be a Puka Nacua level player, that you have to take in 5th round or wherever he went. But at 30, there's going to be a wide receiver available that's thought of in that, late round 1 to through round 3 range that it's probably going to end up being a dude. Can you evaluate that guy?
Yeah. There's some names I really do like there. I'm not the biggest Denzel Boston fan, but I get it. KC Concepcion, I think there's an idea that he could be what you hoped Marvin Mims would be.
He's bigger.
Yeah. And I think he's a little bit more NFL ready with some of his routes. Where Oklahoma, the offense that they run, it's just not NFL. Like the routes that they're trying to do are not quite what you would hope for. There's some projection that you've got to make with some of their players on offense, where I think he's a little bit further along. Chris Bell, if he's healed up from his injury, Omar Cooper Jr., Bernard from Alabama. Part of me, I made this mistake before, Justin Jefferson, where it wasn't that he was elite at anything, but he was really good at everything. And Bernard, there's times where I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I feel the same way that I did about Justin Jefferson when I was watching him. And I was completely wrong. This guy, he does everything well. He's smart. You can tell he understands things that other wide receivers don't. You're talking about the ability to change gears. He does that. And I think that maybe he could be a pretty darn good receiver in the NFL. Now, pick 30, maybe I'm not thinking there, but if he's in there in the 2nd round, I'd probably think about him pretty darn hard.
A lot of options. Somebody asked about Lane earlier. You didn't mention, did you mention Brazel?
Oh, no, I didn't even mention him.
Tennessee, run and move like that, I mean, it's going to be somebody. We'll see what happens. We got QB Easy, Quentin, coming in here. Good to see you. But that's a aloha, hello, goodbye, because we got to go. Got to get the kid down. So I appreciate everybody coming in here. Make sure, even before making sure of anything else, shout out to our super chat givers. Shannon Mills, take a bow, $99.99. Thank you so much, keeping us afloat with the off season. Support like that. Obviously, we're going to keep coming at you Tuesday nights. Phil McLaughlin, too, with 2 super chats. And then, of course, Papa Bear and Chase Wellner. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you so much. Make sure you guys are following Carl and I on Twitter. Carl's at Carl Dumler, MHH. I'm at Kendell, MHH. Also follow us at Mile High Huddle. We're at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. And as the ticker says there underneath, please subscribe, like, and share over on YouTube. Carl, the beard's glorious. Keep it going. I want to be upset. I want to see what it looks like for the meet and greet by next year. Everyone have a great night. Off season, man. It's fun times. Go Broncos.